guys, this is Chelsea with Hennapreneur, and today I'm going to talk to you about one of the most commonly asked questions from new artists. How do I pick a name for my henna business? The first thing that you'll do is start to jot down names that make sense for your business. Brainstorm. Keep a list. You want to have options available to you, and understand that you don't have to select any particular name right now this minute. It's okay to give yourself time before committing to a business name. It's very common for small businesses to change their name sometime within the first 2 years of business. So don't feel like it has to be 100% perfect. Statistically speaking, you're likely to be inclined to change it later on anyway. If you'd like to avoid rebranding, which let me tell you, it's the worst, then take the time to really court those business names and see if you really do love them before making the commitment. So once you've got your list of names, you're going to do a very thorough search. When you conduct this search, you're going to be looking on the internet. You're going to look to see if there's anyone using that name. You want to see if anyone holds a trademark for that name. You need to check as well to see if there's any product or service that is copyrighted with that name. You should check the Secretary of State's website to make sure that that name has not been registered to someone. You also are going to check on all social media platforms. You're going to look on Facebook and on Instagram and on YouTube and on Twitter and on all of those platforms that you can see yourself using to see if anyone is using that name currently. If you find that there is an existing business operating with that name, your best bet, let it go and try something new. The second tip I have for you is to avoid things that are hard to spell. Listen, I get it. Sometimes you come up with things and it's like, oh, this could be really fun. Henna hands. HENNA''DHANZ. No one is ever going to Google henna hands in that way. So let it go. Avoid selecting names that are hard to spell or are difficult for people to remember. You don't want a name that's going to be too long. A name that's short could be okay, but make sure that it's something that's easy for your clients and guests to spell. The third tip that I have for you is to select something that conveys meaning. Now, when I say this, I don't mean that it has to only convey meaning to you. For example, let's say you are personally affiliated with the International Unicorn Lovers Association and you hold a seat on the board and you love it so much that you want to include that detail in your henna business. Fine, that's okay. However, if you are creating a name, Rainbow Unicorn Sparkle Henna, people are not really going to understand what the purpose is of that bit. While they'll certainly assume that you're a super fan, you also will probably lose credibility. You probably will lose that perception of professionalism. So whatever name you're selecting, make sure that it conveys your professionalism as you'd like to be perceived, and make sure that it conveys the meaning behind what you're doing. People do love a good story about why a business is named a specific thing. So if there's something that's particularly personal to you and you want to include that, there are henna artists who have great success with it. However, understand that it can be challenging to use a name that doesn't immediately convey some sort of meaning to your audience, because it will go over their heads, it will make them question. And let's face it, people are lazy. Odds are they're not going to take the time to go and try to figure it out. The fourth thing that you should consider is your ideal client. You want to select a name that is going to resonate with and attract your ideal client. For example, the odds of Rainbow Unicorn Sparkle Henna attracting high-level corporate clients is probably pretty slim. If you're wanting to operate in a professional capacity, I encourage you to think about who your ideal client is, what it is that they're looking for in a business, and then select a name that also speaks to that meaning. Select a name that also speaks to that meaning and conveys that same value system. If you're unsure of how to identify who your ideal client is, I've got a workshop for you on that. You can go over to the vault at hennapreneur.com, and there you'll find a class specific to identifying who your ideal client is. Tip number 5 is try to make your name searchable. If you are a person who lives in one particular region of the country and you don't anticipate moving, you don't anticipate leaving, then you may consider a basic location-based name. Let's say, for example, that you are working in Anytown, USA, and you've been in Anytown, USA for 16 years, and you don't expect that you'll be moving away from Anytown, USA anytime soon. In this case, it may be very much worthwhile for you to name your business Anytown Henna. The reason behind this is when people go to search for services online, they're working with keywords. So you have to consider, what are the keywords that your ideal client is using when they're searching for businesses like yours? Odds are, when you go to Google, you're looking for city name Henna or Henna in city name. If you're in a place where you can secure a name that's specific to your local region or to your service area, then definitely consider it. That's an easy way for your business to become searchable very, very quickly. Now, you may be someone like me who moves very frequently. I like to move every 2-3 years. And so I've never had the opportunity to use a business name that was location-based. So instead, I selected a name for my own business that relates specifically to the henna paste that I use and the experience that my clients have had with that paste. Now, that may resonate with you. It resonates with my ideal client, and that is why it works for me. Understand, you don't have to have a location-based name in order to be successful or even to be searchable. You just need to have a name that conveys what you do, that's easy to remember, that's easy to spell, and that's easy for people to find you on the internet. All right, I will see you guys next time.